Good morning, everybody. Happy new week. Happy Monday. We're here. We're doing it. And I had a really rough week last week. You probably noticed that I wasn't around nearly as much as I normally am, and decided to change that. So we're getting started here bright and early on this Monday. Only half my lights are working, so I don't know if I'm standing in the shadows or what. Hopefully this looks okay for all of you. But there's a couple of things that I want to do today. The first one, it was in the subject line. We're going to talk about Alexa entities today. And if you guys don't know about Alexa entities, I've talked about entity resolution plenty, and it's only tangentially related to that. So Alexa entities is the idea that you can use specific slot values in your voice conversation AI, and when it recognizes something you said. So as an example, let's use the book slot value. So Amazon.book. When you use that slot, if the user matches something that's in that slot, it will not only give you entity resolution to say like, hey, they matched this book, this is super cool, but they'll also provide you with an API URL that's unique to that situation that you can call and get a bunch of other interesting metadata about what's going on. And so I guess the first thing to do probably is dive into the docs, and I can show you kind of what this looks like. So let's get in there. The Alexa Entities Reference. This is just here on the Alexa developer portal, and I'll drop this in the comments. Oh, good morning, Jan Blank. I didn't turn the chatbot on yet. Yeah, we've got a few people here, a couple of people. The chatbot is starting up, so we'll get that rolling, and then you can hear your sound effects and all that. Voice Dev UK is here. Joel Farvel's here over on LinkedIn, so we've got some people. But these Alexa entities is pretty interesting. So these are the slot types that it works with today. You can see we've got Amazon Actor, Animal, Author, Book, City, all the way on down, right? So the way we use these slots normally is that we would say, like, we're expecting the user to say the name of an author, and so we would say something like, tell me about Stephen King, right? And the user says Stephen King, and then we have a slot that is called author, and it lets us know that, by the way, the user said Stephen King. That's a match for something that we already know about. So that's really good. But then if we look at author as a whole, we can come down here a bit further to the author. Keep going down here. Author. Where did author go? Entertainment actor, entertainment author. Okay. So in here, this is an author who creates the text within a written work or vision. They use C.S. Lewis for their example. But you can see here that we bring back, when you talk about a book, we bring back the author themselves. Now, what's cool about this is that you have this C.S. Lewis that comes back and says, hey, this is the name of the author. But an author is also a person. And so if you come down here to person, you could then make an additional call to get all of this kind of information, right? What their actual name is, where they were born, where they died, what their birth and death dates were, if we have those, and then kind of what their occupation was. And in the case of authors, it probably is just author. But that is, this is all data that's part of Amazon's knowledge graph. And I haven't played with this at all. So I thought it would be interesting just to play with it and kind of see what we get and what we can do. And so that's kind of my plan. So the first step in all of this is to build a skill. We got to build something. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Trade Last. Am I going to get any sound effects this morning? Where are my sound effects? Chris, I don't know why I didn't play your music. Good morning, Zavada. I expected that there would be sound effects. I was told that there would be sound effects. What's going on? So let's just call this Alexa Entities. And I don't have my volume down. Like if I do this, I can hear it, right? That sounds lovely. So I wonder why the chatbot is not playing its sounds. If I try an actual command, like if we say, it doesn't seem like it's connected. Let's try closing this and start over. Very odd. Oh, now my desktop is gone? There we go. We'll restart the chatbot because I don't understand why the music isn't playing. That's half the fun of this place. It's certainly not my high entertainment value, my high energy. Traylast just subscribed. Thank you for the subscription. Yeah, it's almost like it's not connecting. Because normally it gives me this whole... It gives me like a whole bunch of like connection stuff. What's going on? Do I need to... Is there a settings I can go to? That all looks great. What is, am I logged in? It does seem like maybe the Twitch API is down. I don't know. I don't know what that is about. And we're not going to go do all this right now. So maybe we just don't have a bot. Weird. I don't know why that would just go away, but anyway, we'll have to skip it for now, I guess. So Alexa entities is the thing that we're going to look at. We're going to build a custom skill, and we'll do provision your own. Yeah, that's is it? Yeah, is this how I want to do this? No, because I always want to work locally, so let's just do it locally. Close folder. Terminal. And then we'll do ask me right here. Node.js, AWS Lambda. Hello world is great. We'll call this entity test. Great. All right, we have our project in there. So that's great. Okay, so let's go open up that folder. Open folder. Entity test. Great. Terminal. And then we can do, let's do a quick ask deploy. Get everything set up and rolling the way we want it. Okay, so we have, we are on our way to building a skill. We're getting everything set up on the dev console. We're getting everything set up in AWS Lambda. But the stuff that we want to focus on, we'll actually do in the dev portal. So let's go back here. We don't need to create this skill. We'll wait for this new one, entity test, to get created. Hey, Zach, man, welcome, welcome. We don't have any sounds today. It looks like maybe the Twitch API is having some issues, or I need to change my configuration. Maybe a token expired. Who knows? Actually, you know, while we're waiting for this to happen, let's take that off screen. Maybe we can figure this out. Twitch. Wish I could be logged into multiple Twitch accounts at once. That would be nice. Okay. They just sent me. They just sent me an email. We'll get this figured out. That did work. Great. And then I'm guessing in settings. I know you guys can't see this right now. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my. Okay, I have to do a little bit of solving a select puzzle that is the correct way up. Okay. That's a new CAPTCHA. I've never seen that one before. And now they're going to send me another code. Fantastic. Come on. All I want to do is make some sound effects work, and we're hitting a wall already. Send me the email then. I'm just standing here waiting for you to send me an update email. Oh, two-factor authentication. This is why people don't like you. It's not supposed to make it harder to do everything. That's Resend code, please. There we go. All right, so now, okay, so fixing my token seems to have fixed it. So I think sound effects are working now. I think. Let's give that a roll. $23.19! We have a $23.19! Okay, so now for those of you that have sound effects, walk on music, whatever, that should work. So sorry I had to do that off screen, but that's how it goes sometimes with security stuff. Okay, so we have our skill, and the first thing that we want to do is think about our invocation name. Instead of change me, we should, or hello world, we should probably choose entity test. Save and build. Okay, so we've got that piece working. The next step is thinking about building an interaction model that has some useful slots. So let's add a new intent that we'll just call, what type do we want to start with? We think about these different slot types. I think person is the most interesting to me. I have this idea in my head. I don't know if I can actually do it, but the idea in my head is to build a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of game where I can use entities to get to entities to get to entities. I don't know if that's actually possible, but we'll see. Maybe I do actor. Let's do Amazon.actor. So let's say that our first slot is going to be actor intent. And in here, we're going to say something like actor, right? And that actor slot type is going to be Amazon.actor. This is all we really need for right now. And so this is fine. This is just a test. We're not building a full-on skill right now. We're just trying to understand how this stuff works. So we'll save and build. We have one intent called actor intent, and all you can do is say the name of an actor. So what we want to see is when you say something like Robert Downey Jr., what does it give us? Or if you say Kevin Bacon or whatever. In any of those cases, we want to make sure that we're getting the right kind of data. And then we're, from my understanding, again, I haven't played with this yet, but my understanding is that this will give us the ability, when I say Robert Downey Jr., to then go get some additional information about him by calling the API link that is available. Yeah, TradeLast, this is something I'm playing with a little bit. I don't know that it's going to work the way I think it will, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I have all of this built. So let's go to our test tab, and we can do open entity test.
I found a few matches for that. Did you mean test dates? I found a few matches for that. Did you mean test dates?
No, that's not what I mean at all. This drives me crazy. Go back to the build tab. Entity test. Okay, let's call it F's entity test. Yeah, GLexis still wants me to solve that alphanumeric slot. I have not been I've not been able to come up with an incredibly good solution for that yet. But we can talk about that too. We can play a little bit more. TradeLast, the way I'm thinking about this is that you give a name, and I say, okay. And then you give another name, And I'm hoping that maybe there's some way that I can figure out a match between those two. Because I pull down the entity for the first one you said, and then I pull down the entity for the second one. I can say, oh yeah, they were in this movie together. I'm hoping that that's kind of the path that I can go. I don't actually know a lot about the data that I'm going to get, so we'll see. We'll see if I can do this or not. Open Jeff's entity test.
I found a few
Come
skills
on.
that might help. Did you mean Jeff Dean facts?
No, what do you need me to do to get this to work? Jeff's entity test. Yeah, the user definitely has to be in the mix. I imagine that this is them trying to play the game. I give them a starting person. And maybe I give them the start and the end person, and they have to figure out how to navigate that path. I don't know if I can actually do that or not, because I can't build all that data myself. I would need to live in the knowledge graph for that to happen. So we'll see if I can actually get there. But either way, I think this is still a really useful experiment. So let's try this one more time. Open Jeff's entity experiment.
I have a few skills that can help.
What do I need to do?
Do you mean static rees?
I don't understand. I would like for this to be far more transparent. Open Jeff's entity experiment. What does that mean? Oh, goodness. I've deployed everything. If we look at my build tab, go to endpoint. Oh, I don't have an AR. How do I not have? What? Okay. Let's go here. Let's go to interaction model. Let's look at JSON editor. Let's take the changes we just made. Bring them down here into our skill package. I'm sure I did something wrong, but I'm not aware of what I did wrong, and so it annoys me. So the name of my skill is Jeff's entity experiment. Great. When I say ask deploy, shouldn't that update everything? I have all of this right here. I'm not sure why it doesn't seem to know what my endpoint is, but I can understand why it's not working if it doesn't have an endpoint to talk to. All right. In the meantime, I think we can still go play here. We should be able to say Robert Downey Jr. I can see that I hit the actor intent and the slot came back. Let me know that, by the way, my slot named actor had the value Robert Downey Jr. So at least that part's working. I think you can have an apostrophe in the invocation name. I don't think that that's an issue. The problem for me seems to be that it doesn't have an endpoint. Let's see if it fixed that now. If I come into here and I look at my endpoint now, it's not giving me an endpoint. We can fix that. Save. Okay, now if we come to our test tab, does it work?
Welcome. You can say hello or help.
Crazy.
Which would you like to try?
I don't know why that happens. Also, I have to talk to this because this is super awesome. Can you guys see down here at the bottom? It's not happening when I speak, although that was my ultimate goal. It doesn't seem to be happening here on StreamYard. I would love the ability to do live captioning in my streams, and I know there's a bunch of tools to do that. But if you guys didn't know this, if you want to turn live captioning on, if you're using Chrome, you can go into your settings and you can go to advanced and you can go to accessibility. And they have this live captioning option. You have to have the most recent version of Chrome. This just came out. But they have this live captioning ability. And what that does, and you can see it when Alexa talks, I should be able to say Robert Downey Jr.
You just triggered actor intent.
You see I'm getting this live captioning down here at the bottom? That's actually happening based on what it hears Alexa say. And so because there's an output in this browser tab, it automatically writes that stuff on the screen. It's a really cool accessibility feature for people, but it's also great for those of us that want to be able to watch a stream but not have the audio playing. Binary Nexus says, this stream is tripping me out because I have my tablet connected via Bluetooth to my Echo as a speaker. Awesome, man. So the Alexa voice is coming right out of your Alexa device. That's pretty cool. So what I want to see, and this is the thing that we were looking for, is that down here, we have this value, Robert Downey Jr. That's the thing that the user said. Then we have this resolution for Alexa entities. And you can see here that I have a value for Robert Downey Jr. And then I have this API call. So I don't think I can just do this, but we'll try it. I don't think do I need to add a header or anything to it? What if I do this? Yeah. So there probably needs to be a header. And I know that there is a bit of sample code in here, so we should probably look at that. Where did that go? Oh, I don't want any of this. I want the related topics, entities, sample code. What did they do here? If I look at, I took a quick glance at this morning, but they, see here, this is the piece that I'm missing. We need some headers. Okay, so we're going to do something similar to this in our code. So the first step for us should be to open up our Lambda function. And in here, we need a handler for actor. So we'll take this hello world intent handler. And this one is going to be called actor. This is going to be amazon.actor. And then speak output for now, this is fine. We just need to have something like that existing. Take our actor intent handler down to the bottom. Okay, and then let's do a quick deploy on that code to get that up to our server. And then what we're going to need to do is, and again, I'm just stubbing this out. I'm not taking a normal development approach to this where I would like keep everything organized and clean. We're just going to kind of live in the handlers that we have. So let me open up a file that I've written 1,000 times before, which would be this one, and then Lambda, handlers, say like answer intent. So data is actually what I want though, because I'm looking for my call to fetch. Open file, data, get achievement speech. That's great. Oh, this isn't actually one of the ones I want. Open, nope. Open file. How about get random speech? This should do what I want. Yeah. So this is where I can create my header options and all that stuff. So I'm going to do something like this. So we're going to need node fetch, which means we're also going to need to npm that bad boy in there. Let's take that up here to the top. So let's do a npm install node fetch. Cool. That worked, right? We didn't get any errors. Great. Okay. So then our next step, if we think about this, is that we need to have our URL. That's going to be the thing that we just got. Then we're going to have some options. And in there is where we're going to have the header stuff that we just described here. Can I do it that way? let's make sure. I've been so comfortable in the way that I use node fetch. I want to make sure that I'm doing this properly. Body params. No, that's not really what I want. All right. This is a pretty simple method post body. This is what I want. So I just need this object that has this stuff in here. I want to set the headers. I don't want to get the headers. See, they have me. This is actually interesting. I didn't realize that like this form data object and stuff exists, which is pretty cool, but not really what I want. I think this is all I really need though, right? If we think about the values that we're going to put in there, we have headers, which is authorization. And then they're using Axios to do this, but you're basically just passing in this headers object. Why am I not finding that here? I feel like I've done this a bunch. This is what I was looking for. Okay, method, body, and headers. And the headers is its own object. So that's perfect. So we'll take this headers here. And that's all good. We don't need the accept language. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. And this API access token, what is that? Is that something that's coming out of my, oh, that's my API. Of course, that's my API access token for Alexa. So we'll need this as well. Nice that they have a built-in function for that. Okay, so I have my API access token here. Then I have my headers created. Then we're going to call this, and we'll tweak this up a little bit. And I think all I really need to do is return. Okay. But this isn't returning. What I want to do is say, how do I want to do this? Actor data equals and then are we good? Then we should be able to, and all I really care to do right now is like a console log. Sorry, I'm sure I broke something here, but this gets us a start. Oh, the other piece that we didn't do was we don't have our URL. We need our actual URL, and that is going to be, if we look here, what do they call for the URL? Resolved entity. So they're TradeLast, I actually don't know if I need to async await. We're going to find out. I left that off purposely because I wasn't sure. I might. It feels like I do, right? But we need our URL. So if I'm looking at their code, They have this get slot resolutions function, which I've never seen before. That's here. So let's take this. I'm just trying to get something working so we can play. So we'll drop that right beneath it. And then they have resolutions equals that. Okay. So we have all of this other stuff. Let's start here. I have const slot equals, and this is going to be actor. And I have get the resolutions for that slot. Then I have this resolved entity. It's just URL. So instead of URL, we're going to call this resolved entity. Okay. All right, this feels like I've got something working here. If I've actually got something working here. I should have set up all this rigging before. I really just wanted to play, and it sometimes it takes a little work to just get things set up. All right, back to my testing tool. Let's save this one. Okay, open the experiment. This should just be the hello world response.
Welcome. You can say hello or help. Which would you like to try?
And now let's Jeff Goldblum.
There was a problem with the requested skills
That's
response.
kind of expected, I suppose. We should turn on local debugging. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't install all the things. npm install ask SDK. I thought this would come automatically with. Okay, how about now? Ugh, there's always a thing that I need to change and I forget what it is every time. GitHub, TKO trivia, Lambda. No. Where does that live? VS Code, launch. Probably just take this as is. What am I doing wrong? That was what I was doing wrong. Everything is so hard to set up sometimes. My goodness. Bad access token. Why does this exact same file work? So fun. Okay, that's fine. Let's just go. We'll do it the manual way. I don't feel like I just want to play with some code today. Okay. Let's go to CloudWatch. Log groups. Let's try this. See what our error was. Cannot find node fetch. Cool. Cool. What? Ask. Great. We're getting there. Code is deployed. Let's try that again.
Welcome. You can say hello. You just triggered actor intent.
Oh, I see why. That one makes sense to me. If we look at our skill, we said Amazon.actor. This is totally wrong. Okay, I can live with that one. That's easy. That's manageable. That was just my brain not working. Okay. How about now?
This might answer your question.
Nope.
According to Wikipedia. Welcome. You can say hello. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try
Is
again.
that the built-in error? Is that the error handler now? Sorry, I had trouble doing what you're asked. So that's an error inside my skill. Okay. Cool. Or not cool, but cool. Resolution matched is not defined. Okay, well, that's what happens when you copy and paste a bunch of code. So let's go see what we did wrong. Resolution match. What is this? What is that? What are you giving me here? If I... Oh, I see. Nice. Okay. Okay. With that. Set it one more time. Cool. Okay. So now if I say Jeff Goldblum.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked.
We'll get
Please
through
try
this.
again.
We'll get through this. Resolution match is not defined at get slot resolutions. Are you sure? What was the error? Resolution match is not defined at get slot resolutions, line 69. What? This is just returning a true or false. Well, let's think about the error we're getting here. Resolution match is not defined. I mean, this is their sample code. They're doing it exactly that way here. Seems like it should work. What else can we do here? We, in our code, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. You want to pass it through here. I think that the find, look at find. And that's what you're saying, where you didn't have any sample code. That's about where I'm about to land, because I don't really need it. I mean, I could hard code this all in for now. So we have request.intent.slots. Actor resolutions. Resolutions authority. That's an array. Values. Value.id. But this is actually what I want this to be. Let's see what that gets us. At some point, it's just worth it to hard code something in, because again, we're just playing. I'm not trying to build an official app or anything. I'm just trying to get these results back. All right, let's go.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
What now? It's not sending back. Sending back text instead of JSON, maybe? So if in here, instead of JSON, we say request.text. Maybe this will get us something. Oh,
Hello world.
that's exciting. Okay. So what did we write out? Actor data undefined. Well, that's fantastic. So we got something. So if we look down here, we got this URL. Is there a piece that I'm missing? Like if I look at this, they're calling their get function. This is their fetch. And they're doing response.data, so there must be a data node on that. I mean, but I should see that if I got anything back at all. Did I? Oh, you know what I probably didn't do? Yeah. This. That. I didn't include my headers. That probably has something to do with it. What do you think? If you don't put headers on it, will it work? Betting no. Okay. Try again.
Hello world.
Still nothing. Still nothing. Why still nothing? What we should be finding is a bunch of interesting data about Jeff Goldblum. What have I done wrong here? Oh, you know what? It probably wants a... Does it want to post? No, they're calling a get. So... I wonder why this isn't working. I have this same stuff, right? The bearer token and the get locale. I have all that stuff right here. Could be that too. Running out of things it couldn't be. Get makes sense. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting. I'm not posting data to them. I'm just getting. Before I try your stuff, Trade Last, let's see if this does anything for me.
Hello world.
Okay, I want to check my timestamp too. So this one ends in 80. No. E567. I want to make sure I'm not pulling the same one. There's a new one. Okay, so I can see my headers. And I'm still getting nothing. So at least I know the bearer token is going in the right place and the language thing is going in the right place. You had accept. Where did that come from? Did you have a reason for that specific thing? And we could do a, let's see, accept. You like ID plus JSON? That? Okay.
Hello world.
Yeah, I mean this is a this fetch stuff is from you're returning r.data. Okay. That could be it too, right? Is that I'm just not getting the right thing? So let's look at and over here. Well, none of that even matters. We'll just return r.data. But then wasn't there a place where I was okay, let's try that. Maybe it's just that I was pointing at the wrong property. Let's give that a try. Okay. How about Jeff Goldblum now?
Hello world.
229B. And now the list is, there we go. Still no. Still nothing. All I wanted to do was play with some data, and I'm going to spend the whole hour. Yeah, you're right, Trade Last. It might be data. That seems to make sense looking at this. They're getting response.data. So could it be this? Would that be simple enough? Maybe I'm just complicating this. Okay. Jeff Goldblum.
Hello world. I feel like I'm not looking at the newest one. Oh, come on. All right, maybe we do it this way. Maybe we take all of this. We'll take all of this. And then we'll just install Axios and see.
broke something badly. I've just taken the entire sample code from the GitHub, so we'll see if that gets us anywhere. I mean, I have to imagine this is going to break all day, but we'll see.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Cannot read property resolutions because I went back to their stuff. So all I really care about say this is going to be what we did down here a second ago. This all the way down to that. So broken. All of this isn't going to work, but that's okay. Let's at least get to our entity, which is here. Let's see if that works. Okay. So run this again.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try.
Stop fighting me.
Welcome. You can say hello or help. Which would you like to try? Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Wow. This is so much information, but all of it is hidden behind more calls. It did work. It did work. This is interesting. So we have these individual properties like total number of awards, occupation, entertainment, musician. I don't know if I'm seeing the structure here properly, but then we also have things like artist album, birth date. So we do actually get his birth date value. Birthplace, but I don't get the actual values. I have to call again. Interesting. This is the piece I was thinking about using. He's a cast member of whatever these are. So, all right, let's go tweak our code because we don't really. We do this. A cleaner look at it too. This. Okay. Let's deploy that again. And see if we can get a better look at what's going on with that JSON. And I'm with you, Trey. Sometimes it's just nice to have things work. I'm with you. Agreed.
Jeff Goldblum.
Cool. So now if we come back here. That's not the one. 8084 is not the one I want. That didn't really give me anything better. If anything, I feel like it shrunk it. Yeah, it did. It didn't go deeper on these kinds of things. Well, so what do we do from here? What do we do with this information? Because I didn't really get any info. This is something I've always wondered about, though, which is that I want to be able to provide like a universal context object. And to do that, you pretty much have to have a predefined schema. I've always wondered about this. Like if I just wanted to save information about a user, but have that information available to other skills too, how would all of that work? How would we store that so that the next user that retrieved that object would know what's going on? For that, you pretty much have to have a universal schema. And that's more or less what they're defining here. So they have things like birth date and birthplace and name and occupation. I guess what I don't understand, I mean, I do understand. All of those things are entities too. So like the birthplace, right? The city itself is its own entity. But I just wish they would pass, I wish they would pass the name through or something, you know? Because now in order to know his birthplace, I have to make a second call. Which isn't the end of the world. Huh. Okay. So let's do that. Let's get the birthplace also. So this should be simpler. So we'll take this. This is how we're doing it. We have our response.data. We'll write out that entity. Let's do it long form. And then once we do that, then we're going to make another call. We'll call this response2 to be very responsible. Our resolved entity this time is going to be entity dot birthplace. Is that right? It's going to be entity something like that. Entity dot context dot birthplace. Dot add ID. Okay, so this should then be my second call. And then we should be able to say const entity2 equals response2 dot data and console log. So let's see how much I just broke. That feels right, assuming that this context is right. Syntax, not context, syntax right. And if we come back here and we say Jeff Goldblum.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Cannot read property add ID of undefined. So that's why I'm wondering if I'm not seeing this properly. What I really need to do is take the whole thing. You're gonna make me do that for all of them? Okay. I wanted to see what this looks like. What I'm seeing though is that this should work this way. I have at context, then I have a new object that has all of these other properties. Oh, maybe it's not at context. Maybe it's just birthplace. I think that's my issue. So it's not this. It's entity birthplace.id. I might just do it. See if I get this any closer to where we want to be. Because this could be really cool, but it is going to require, for most applications, you're going to have like this chain of like bang, 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 call all these things to get the piece that you need. Jeff Goldblum, please. No errors.
Jeff Goldblum.
Nice. Nice. I like when it works. That's good news. 374D is gone. And we get, on this one, we get a name. So we get the name West Homestead, Pennsylvania. That must be where Jeff Goldblum is from. And again, to keep digging into this stuff, we just got to keep call. This feels like I could really blow up their API, but they must be prepared for that. So what if we do something more interesting? If we look at the original context, we also had entertainment cast member of, and then we just have this entity, but we don't know which one it is. Yeah, TradeLast, that's where I'm at, is all these API calls take time. I mean, it's a minimal amount of time, right? Milliseconds measurement, but it's still a lot of time. Well, let's try entertainment cast member of .0. Let's see what that gets us. I'm expecting a movie to come back, right? So this should be...
What would you say to do here?
Well, I also wonder, Father Goblin, if it would be worthwhile to, like, every time this happens, to, like, scrape it all down, right? Save all this stuff and create my own storage. That's one of the other things that I'm wondering as I go through this. So at least the first time it's a little painful, but then every other time we can just go get it from our own data store. I didn't think you'd let me do that. Can I do this? Goodness. I've done that before. 3 layers of array notation, but I think it'll work. This should give us the name of some movie. Again, I don't know which one. It should be the name of a movie he was a cast member in. Based on what I'm seeing here. Entertainment cast member of, we're calling this URL basically to see what we get. So no whammies. Here we go.
Jeff Goldblum.
No error. That's a good sign. ED00. There we go. Name, this was The Fly. Jeff Goldblum was definitely in The Fly, so we know that piece is working. Interesting. Okay, so as I think this through, I think I'm going to need to sit down and, like, write some documentation to think about how this works, but man, how do I do that? If I think about the original piece they gave me, he's been in more than 5 movies, but what I see here is a cast member array of 5 things. I'm still trying to trade less. I'm still trying to work my way back to a 6 degrees kind of game. Because once I have the film, I have entertainment cast member. And so the problem I have here is that I would need to call every single one of those URLs and get the data out of them. I like where you're at though. So I feel like if I start with Jeff Goldblum, I can't get his entity data. That's another trick. But I can always go backwards. So I should be able to, so you say Chris Pratt. And then I look in Chris Pratt and all I'm doing is looking for Jeff Goldblum. I'm looking for the previous one. And then you say, what's a good example? Chris Hemsworth, right? Thor. And then all I need to do is go back and make sure Chris Pratt is in his list. The problem with that is that I'm not basing it on a movie. How do I get from A to B? If I want to get from, what's a good example where they would not have been in the movie together? Jennifer Garner, not Jennifer. Jennifer Garner? Jennifer Garner is not the one I'm thinking of. Garner is that one. Jennifer Lawrence is who I'm thinking of. So if I wanted to get from Jeff Goldblum to Jennifer Lawrence, I don't know how I would easily do that, because I'd have to go through every movie they'd been in. Man, this is a tricky scenario here that I have the data technically. It is a graph explosion problem for sure. Do I or can I do that though? I mean, it wouldn't be impossible. I would just need to, when you say the second actor, so let's say it's Chris Pratt, who was Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel movies. You say Chris Pratt, I have to go explode all the movies he's been in and all of the actors that are in all those films. God, that's like 70 calls easily. Maybe more. It's only one with GraphQL. Well, that's awesome, Father Goblin. I just wonder if they've given this that much thought. Like on our side for this graph, have we made it so that, like, is there other properties that I can tack on? I've got some questions for the product team for sure. It's also very possible that I'm just not smart enough to figure this out. There is a lot of games in here though, like a lot of trivia knowledge fun. One of them might be, I just name a show or a movie and you have to name an actor. That wouldn't be impossible, assuming that they show up in the graph, right? Because like Jeff Goldblum had 5 movies in there. That when it comes back every time, I'm assuming it's the same. But I would have to then backtrack and say, oh, I told them to name an actor from The Fly. And they said Jeff Goldblum, and I looked through his list, and yes, The Fly is in his list. But is it a complete list? Or because he's been in more than 5 movies, but when we look at our data for Jeff Goldblum, entertainment cast member of, I'm only getting 5. Actually, I'm only getting 4. So how do I get the rest? What if I wanted a full list of all the movies he's been in? Can I get that? This is very interesting. All right, well, I've done my experiment. I've played with this a little bit. Now I need to think about how I want to use this, how I want to play with it, because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here. One of the things that I really struggle with when building voice experiences is the data, right? I need more data than I have, and compiling it is a nightmare. My Star Wars skill is a perfect example of that. It's awesome. It's working. It's doing everything that I want it to do. The problem I have is there's so much. And am I going to sit down and write an entity description for every single thing in the Star Wars universe? Probably. Yes, I'm that guy. But most people wouldn't. And for most topics, I wouldn't. All right, I've got some thinking to do on this. This was a really good experiment. I'm glad we got through this today. I have to think about how I want to use this in the future. And I wish that there was a way to explode all this stuff. Like, give me all of it. Give me all the data at once. I feel like that should be a property that I could set. I didn't see it, but it feels like it should be a property that I should be able to say when I call in, like, explode everything for me, rather than making 70 calls in. Okay. I've got a lot of thinking to do. This has been very interesting, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Let's go raid somebody. Let's see what's happening on the Twitch. Nope. Wrong one. Try again. There we go. Which question, Father Goblin? See what begins. This world is always crazy. We'll go see what BeginBot's doing today. Oh yeah, I'm with you, Father Goblin. It would be like, I just wish it was simpler. I don't actually want all the data, and I've played in relational databases for decades in my life, but I feel like we could make it easier, at least for some of this. Anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow.